here at Cherokee Park doing some pickup for the Literati campaign that we are doing for the rest of the week. But I am also doing, I'm here to tell you a little bit about the Leave No Trace Principle 6, which is respect wildlife. So you probably can hear around me some beautiful birds singing and maybe a rustle or two of smaller underbrush animals that I may come across while I am walking, right? So some things that you want to think about when you are out on the trail is the fact that you are not in your home, you are in the animal's home. And so what that means is that you need to be respectful of everything that you're doing. You want to stay on the path that that has already been made. We've talked about that in the past, you know, leave no trace and walking on durable surfaces. You want to make sure that you're doing that because that's part of the animal habitat. You want to make sure that you're doing your part. All of the principles really work together. But so another thing that you want to do is that you are trash in, trash out, right? That disposing of waste properly. Right now over here, I see a cup lid that has just been disposed of on the side of the trail. That's not cool, dudes. So you want to make sure that you are cleaning up after yourself and also cleaning up after other hikers if they're being trashers. So you also want to make sure that if you do come upon an animal, that you give it a good amount of distance between you two. You don't, if you were to scare the animal, then you know that you've gotten too close. Here is actually one of my favorite pictures that shows exactly why you shouldn't get too close to an animal.
So let me tell you the story of a boy who thought it would be cool to get a selfie with a squirrel. Seconds after he took this picture, his mom took this picture.
So that guy got way too close, right? Are you kidding me? Why would you want to take a selfie with a squirrel? They are wild animals. Just because they live in in your neighborhood doesn't mean that you can pet them, doesn't mean that you can take a selfie with them, you know? That might be a celebrity squirrel. It doesn't want to take its picture with you. So you want to make sure that you are staying far enough away. Think about it in a different way. So think about if a big bear came into your home and how scared you would be, right? Think about that in the same way that now you're the bear and there's that beautiful bunny right next to you, but you just want to go and touch it. Well, the bear might think that you're just cute and fluffy and that it just wants to touch you, but you don't know that because you don't speak bear, and that bunny that you want to go and touch doesn't know that you're not going to hurt it, and it's going to scare the living daylights out of it. So make sure that you are keeping your distance. If you come upon something, whether it's an actual mammal or if it's a bug or anything like that, don't get afraid of it. Don't kill it. Don't scare it. Just let it be. Let it go along its way. And, you know, that's what it is, right? Here's some animals that I found when I was out at camp.
Pause the video here if you haven't finished the activity sheet.
So I'm on my hike and I noticed that we have a Monarch Waystation here in Cherokee Park. So this is a big deal. Do you remember how I told you that we really need to make sure that we are staying on durable surfaces? Just like we talked about in Principle 2, I think. Durable surfaces, we want to make sure that we are staying out of things like this waystation. So this waystation is used for milkweed. So milkweed is a really awesome type of plant that the monarch butterfly likes to be on and take the nectar and all of that. And this particular way station provides shelter and that nectar for the butterflies as they migrate across the North America. So this is a huge, important place. And if I were to go into that area, I am not in any way respecting that wildlife, right? I'm actually like killing off its habitat. So you want to make sure that you are paying attention to where you're stepping at all times, because that helps wildlife.
Pets are tons of fun to take out on hikes, but one more way to respect wildlife is to not let pets disturb them. In the following video, you will see how I make sure my pet doesn't disturb the wildlife. This is Geronimo. When we go hiking, I make sure to keep him on a leash so he doesn't run off when he gets distracted.
What'd you see? Oh, is there a squirrel? So one more thing about about leaving a trace and respecting wildlife is disposing of trash correctly, right? Well, you know, this is perfect because this is overflowing. That's not good. This trash receptacle is not doing anyone any favors. So when you see something that's full, don't stick more stuff in it, because this just leads to more raccoons getting into it, or possums, or anything like that. So you just want to make sure that if there's no place to put it, just keep your trash with you. Also, if this were to have some sort of covering on it, I would want to make sure that if I took it off, you put it back on. If there's a bungee cord, like we have at the Girl Scout camps, you want to make sure that you are getting those bungee cords back onto the trash cans, because those are there for a reason. So make sure that when you're disposing of your trash, you are disposing of it correctly. You're not overflowing it. You are making sure that everything gets put back the way that it is, because in the long run, that is so much better for the wildlife than just having it overflowing and being able to eat from it, right? You want to make sure that animals stay animals and they don't get excited about being in near humans. Okay, so we're still at Cherokee Park, but now let's talk about backpacking. What you do to make sure that you are being safe and you are respecting the wildlife in the area is to make sure that you are bear bagging. I'm going to teach you how to bear bag in a second, but first I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the kinds of things that you are going to need to put into a bear bag. All right, so let's do this. So when it comes to bear bagging in your pack, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a very well sealed bag that you can put it in. I like to put mine into my waterproof containers. This is nice because it is waterproof. It also can be a little bit smell proof, and it also comes with this wonderful little handle that I can hook onto to make sure that I can hang my bear bag. So what is bear bagging? Bear bagging is the use of a bag, and you place it up in a tree, and you are placing everything that is going to smell in your pack at night up in a tree, so that if something should happen and an animal comes by, they're not going to get into your pack, they're not going to get into your tent, they're not going to get into your hammock, your camp area at all, and they're going to try for the bear bag. But the thing is the way that you hang it is the key element there. So a bear bag goes up in a tree, and it needs to be 12 feet off the ground, and it needs to be 5 feet away from the trunk of the tree on the branch. So and then it needs to be something that has the ability to hang there and be there for the entire night. We'll go over it a little bit more when I actually show you how to put up a bear bag, but for right now, let's talk about what goes into a bear bag. So in my bear bag right now, I have Food, obviously. So obviously this isn't all my food that I'm going to be eating for the entirety of a backpacking trip. A lot of it would be something that, you know, this would make up a lot of what I would be eating, but I'm not going to take an entire 5-pound bag of rice. That's just silly. So, but this is to represent food in general. Things also that go into your bear bag are scented wipes, if you decide to take scented wipes with you. Any deodorant that you might put into your bag. You may not have an entire stick like this. Most of the time you're not going to have an entire stick, but you're going to have something. If you decide to have something, then you need to put that in your bear bag because it's going to smell. Also, any toothpaste. Again, this is not the size that you're going to be using in a backpacking situation, but this is more just for toothpaste. You know what this looks like. Any soap that you have, any soap or anything that has some sort of perfume is going to be needing to go into the bear bag at night. Something that you may not think about needing to go into the bear bag: your toothbrush. Your toothbrush actually has scent on it when you use it, right? You get done, it's all minty fresh. It needs to go in the bear bag too. Something that's not in my bear bag right now, but my toiletry kit. We went through it a little bit earlier in another video, so I'm not going to go through it, but if I were to have any sort of feminine hygiene products that had a scent in it, or even sometimes the scent of the blood that is on those feminine hygiene products can attract animals. So you want to make sure that you go to the bathroom before you go and tuck in for the night and put up your bear bag, and make sure that you do that, you know, pretty last thing. Now, one thing that you can use in your bear bag, if it's not an actual bear bag, so this isn't a real bear bag, this is just a 10-liter waterproof bag that I have. You can they have these disposable bags that are scent blockers. So what it is you put anything that's scented into this bag, and you can just twist it up, and it's going to block scent. It's not going to block 100% of the scent, but it's going to block some of it, most of it. And so, you know, putting this in here in a bear bag up in a tree, you're going to really have a lot less, you know, problems with things than you might normally. So, cool. So that is what goes into a bear bag. Now let's find out how to actually put one up in the tree. Okay, so I went ahead and packed up my bear bag. It's ready to go up in the tree just like it is. Now let's talk about the other kinds of equipment that you're going to need to use. So first off, you're going to need rope. This is just paracord that I use. I don't have a lot. I usually don't do long distances when I go backpacking, so you know, maybe like 3 or 4 days, 5 days maybe. So I'm not going to have a huge bear bag because I'm not going to have a huge amount of food. So I don't really need that strong of cord like a real rope. Paracord is going to be totally fine. You're going to need about 50 to 100 feet, depending on the types of trees that you're going to be around. If you are out in California near the redwoods where the shortest branch is 25 feet in the air, you're going to need a bigger, or a longer rope. But if you're in the Kentucky area, more than likely you're going to find one that's probably 20 feet in the air, and it's perfect. So 50 to 100 feet is going to be perfect for that size. And when you're backpacking, really know what you're doing. You want to make sure that you're not taking 100 feet of rope if you don't need to take 100 feet of rope, because every ounce counts. Yes. Second thing that you're going to need is, well, this is not a definite need, but this is something that I like to do. I keep my rope in it, but this is just a small bag that I can put rocks into when I do my throwing, so that if for some reason this gets stuck and I can't get it down and I have to cut the rope, I'm not cutting away my food, I'm not losing my food, I'm just losing this small bag, right? So I think it's a little bit better to have that bag, that small thing that you can put weight onto, but that you're not going to need if you lose it. Cool. Last thing that you need, carabiner, right? You need some way to put the rope onto here. I like to use a carabiner. You don't necessarily have to. It helps not have to tie and retie knots and all of that, and it's easier to take things off and on if you need to go and get it in the woods, maybe for a midnight bathroom break that you didn't realize that you were going to have. And so that's, helpful. So cool. I think that we went over everything that you're going to need. Let's go put one up. All right. Okay, so when you are looking for a tree to bear bag into, you are looking for a tree that is tall enough that you can have your bear bag be 5 feet away from the limb that you are on, and that it is 12 feet from the ground, because bears are tall, right? So you want to make sure that if they get up onto the branch, they're not going to be able to get to it. And if they get up on the side of the trunk, it also needs to be 5 feet away from the trunk, so that they can't get to it that way. And then if they stand up on their back legs, they can't get to it that way. Right? Makes sense. Awesome. So I am looking at the tree behind me, and I spy this really great branch that's right there. So we're gonna put a bear bag in it. All right, let's do it. Okay, so when you're putting a bear bag up, you want to make sure that you have your nice and heavy portion that you're gonna throw in your dominant hand, and you're going to kind of slow softball pitch it up into the tree. Okay. You want to make sure that you have enough line so that when it goes up, it's not going to come out of your hand, but also that you're not getting tangled up in it as well. So you want to be back a little bit from it, just to make sure that you can get a good angle at it, probably like 33-degree angle, something like that. And then you just pitch it up. Whoop.
3 hours later.
There we go. Okay, so once you get it up into the tree, you can just take it down. And swap it out for your other bear bag. And pull it on up. About right there. Look good? Awesome. So then when you're done putting that up in the tree, you want to make sure that you're tying it to a different tree. You don't want to tie it to the tree that you have it in, because then the bears can get to it a little bit easier. It's better if it's tied to a different tree. I like to use a clove hitch, but you can tie it however you want.
Thanks for watching. Join us next week for Leave No Trace Principle 7. Be considerate to others.